When you think about the story going forward, it's going to be at full self-driving penetration, autonomous, and what I've ultimately believed.
So you believe that stuff?
Oh, how about this? I think...
Paul, let us be respectful. You wouldn't talk to Gene Munster that way.
No, I would not. You're right.
So look, I think over the next 4 to 5 years, there will be a point where Sweeney is getting into a cyber cab, no driver, taking him to play golf. That will happen in the next 4 to 5 years.
All right. I mean, if that happens, that is a whole new game.
But that's our view. And again, the whole issue is that between the Musk-Trump bromance, the reason it's so important for the stock is because now regulation in this country is going to rapidly change in terms of autonomous. And that, we believe $1 trillion alone for Tesla's valuation just based on autonomous.
Gene, get us up to speed on this. And you come at this from Loop Ventures and Deepwater Asset, where you've really dived into the entrepreneurial part of technology. Do you buy the Ives story?
100%. I mean, I think that the reality is that if you're born today, there's no chance that you're going to, born in the U.S. today, there's no chance that you're going to ever need a driver's license. If you're 8 years old today, there's no chance. And
or Gene, talk about what you talk about, like with your kid, like how you always say, like your kid, like will your kid, yeah.
So I have a daughter. She's 8 years old, and I had a bet just after she was born that she would never have a driver's license. And a couple of weeks ago, I tried the latest version of Tesla FSD for 20 minutes and had a couple interventions. It's not there yet, but it is remarkable the progress it's making. And I think that the whole conversation around Tesla, very few people are actually experiencing how far along they are. And then you layer on top of that the fact that humans are becoming worse drivers. 40,000 plus people lose their lives a year in auto accidents in the U.S. alone. And then you layer on top of that what GM Cruise announced this week, basically backing off from autonomy. It just leaves this wide open opportunity for Tesla to really be, I think, one of the two key players within autonomy. And so I think that that's not fully appreciated in shares of Tesla.
So Dan, when we think about the Tesla story, I mean, part of me, the cynic in me, thinks Elon Musk is trying to get me to take my focus away from bending metal, which is a low margin business, competitive business, to other bets, to use a term. But you think those other bets, like autonomous driving, robo-taxis, are real? But
I view it similar to, like, as Keene's talked about for a decade. It's like with Apple, but originally, and Gene's talked about it as well, you just looked at Apple as a hardware player, smartphone. Yep. But what's been the key of the valuation, why it's going to be the first one in the $4 trillion market club? It's because of services. It's because of, so when you think about Tesla, I would compare autonomous, the software, FSD, to Apple services relative to that Cupertino story. That's why it's so important. 7 million vehicles out there. You'll have 10 million vehicles over the next year or two. And even when you look at Waymo, which is the Google Play, those are $200,000 cars.
I got to get this in. Yesterday we had great coverage. Thank you to our team for linking it up with the president-elect at the New York Stock Exchange. The billionaire of the United States was not there. I answer the critics of Elon Musk and Ives. Is he getting taxpayer support for all of his ventures? Is he getting a free ride off the back of the American taxpayer?
I disagree. I would argue you're talking about he made a bet for the ages with Trump and essentially iced out, if you look at last administrations when it comes to Biden administration, especially around EVs. And now you're going to really see him doubling down. And within the Beltway, there's going to be major changes. And when that knock at the door happens, it's Musk.